In this section, I want to show you another example of assembly, and I want to use very simple formulas in this assembly. So before going on to this example, I want to show you how you can create formulas, how you can see them, how you can change them. And before that, let's go to Tools, Options, and in Tools Options, I want you to go to General. In parameters and measures, you can make sure that parameter 3 value is with value and with formula. And then go to infrastructure. Under infrastructure, you can find the part infrastructure. And under part infrastructure, you can go to display tab. Now you can see that relations and parameters are checked here. And I want you to make sure that these are checked so that we can see this under 3. Specification tree. So I click on OK, and the first thing I want to do is to go to part design environment, and part 1 is the name. That's okay. Let's select one of the views. For example, XY plane is okay. Go to sketch environment, and here I want to draw a simple rectangle like this. Okay, now I want to add some constraints here. For example, and one constraint for this, and another one should be for this, but wait a second, for this constraint I want to show you something. Right clicking on this constraint, you can go to length 5 object. You can see that the name of this constraint is length 5 because this is of type length. It is length, and because this is the 5th element in my environment, this is number 5. And what are the 4 elements? I can see the rectangle has 4 lines. If I move my mouse over these lines, you can see that these lines are separate from the other lines. So we do not have a complete entity here. We have a combination of 4 lines that comprise a rectangle for us. So if I open part body, go to sketch 1 and open geometries, you can see that I have line 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the lines that create the rectangle. I have 1 point on each corner. Point 2, 3, and 4 are the 4 corners that we can see them. And if I open constraint, I can see that the length is the constraint that I just added here. And because this is the 5th element, its name would be 5. Okay, I can rename this. I can open this and go to length 5 object. You can see here, I can show this with name. If I click on name, you can see only the name here. It is length 5. I can right click here as well and go and select, for example, with value and name and value display. By clicking on name value display, you can see that length 5 equals to 200 is here. Let's rename this. I go to properties, and instead of length 5, I rename it to width and hit OK. You can see that it tells me that width is about 200. And in formulas, it is very important to rename the parameters, rename the constraints, because this is very convenient to find the item that I am looking for. And it is not hard to work with that. So let's go and add another constraint here. I want to add constraint of length here. You can see that its name is length 6. I want to rename it to height. So I go to properties and rename it to height here. And I want to show you something. Let's first go to height object and select name value display to see both of these parameters, both of these here. And right click here and go to height object and select edit formula. You can see that I can add a formula for this to calculate the height from some portion or some calculation from the width object here. So let's click on edit formula here. You can see that in first part body, sketch 1, height, length is the type that we have selected. You can see that this is type of length. And now you can see this small fx symbol here that tells me there is a formula attached to this height object. Now I want to select the width. I can go and click on width here, or click on it on a specification tree, or I can find it here. You can see that the parameters are selected. Every parameter in this environment is here. And you can see that I have selected all parameters. I can find it if I want to by using, for example, type of parameter. For example, I want only the constraints. If I click on constraints, you can see that constraints are shown to me. This is refined and filtered for me, and I prefer to click all, but go and select it from specification tree or the environment. It is easier for me to work with them. So I select width. You can see that part by the sketch 1 width length is selected, and I want it, for example, to be divided by 2. So I type in a slash and type 2. If I want to select these operators, I can go to the left. You can see that I have some operators here. If I click on that, I can find different type of mathematic operators here. If I want to find, for example, a string operators, I can click on string. You can see that different types of strings operators are here. If I want to work with, for example, mathematical operators, for example, tangent, sinus, or any other mathematical working, object, I can click on math. And if I want to specify select a kind of unit, I can click on units, and you can see that different types of units are here. Okay, I want to select operators, and under operators I want to select divided by operator, so I click on this, and by double clicking you can see that it goes up, and now I want to divide it by 2, so I type in 2. If I click on OK, you can see that the height is changing, and the FX tells me that this is based on a formula. And if I double click on this, you can see that this is disabled because there is a formula attached to this value. So I cancel this out. If I go to width and change it to, for example, 300 and click on OK, you can see that the height is changed to 150 to reflect the calculation of the formula. So formulas are very nice here. Okay, let me show you some other formulas here. So I want to pan down and I want to draw a profile like this. I draw this here, here, and I drop it down like this and hit escape to finish this profile. Now I add an angle, and adding this angle, I want to go to properties and change the value to angle. So I don't want to have it as angle 10, and I want to show the name and value both here, and I select this as, let's rename this. So I rename it by going to properties and type in hypotenuse and click on OK. Again, I want to see this, its name and value together, and I change it, for example, to 200 for now, and I want to have this another constraint, and I want to rename it to drop, for example. I don't want to have a specific name for this. Again, I want to see the name and value at the same time. So I select this, name and value, and I want to have a formula to calculate the drop's length. So I right click on this and go to drop object. Of course, let me show you two different ways of selecting the formulas. I can go to this down bar. You can see the formula under knowledge toolset. I guess this is knowledge toolset, and I can click here. I can go to insert. I can go to tools menu and select formula from here, or I can right click on the item that I'm going to attach the formula for that. Let's go to tools menu and select formula. This is easy. I want to add a formula for this. If I cannot find the item here, I can filter it by the type here again. I can see that I don't want to filter this. I want to just go and select the item that I want to add formula for that. You can see that by selecting this, I can go and select add formula button here, and by clicking this, I can go and select the formula for this. I want to have the length of this like this. I want to select the tangent of this angle. So I go to math, and by selecting the math operators, I select the tangent. This is the tangent. And inside the tangent, I select this angle. Now you can see that the tangent is selected. And I multiply it, and for multiplication I can select the asterisk, or I can go select the asterisk from operators, and I want to multiply it by this hypotenuse. Now I can click on OK, and you can see that the drop is changing like this. So I click on OK. That's OK for me. Now I want to change this angle to, for example, 45, and you can see that this is changing to reflect this. If I want to have it about 60, you can see that again it changed to show and reflect the change. And let me close this geometry and constraints here and show you one more thing that is added to my specification tree, because in options menu, in options dialog box, we selected to see the relations. So I open relations here. Now I can see the two formulas, and the first formula is this, and I can go to formula object and see the definition, deactivate it, hide it, reorder it, or upgrade it. This is easy. And the second formula is here. I can see the both formulas, and if I had type of, for example, parameter, I could see the value of that parameter here. In next section, I want to show you that I want to have a parameter added to my shape, and I want to see the value of that parameter.